Hi, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in. It's good to talk with you or to talk to you again. I hope that you studied the front picture before I started talking. It'll be important for you to see it. So if you did not really look at it, why don't you rewind this and just pause it on that picture, okay? So that you can study it and see what's going on in each of the four little pictures that are on the main picture, okay? It has four little scenes in it. Okay, go ahead and do that now, and then I'll start my story. Okay, I'm gonna guess that you are back, and I'll start my story now. Something you might not have known about Pastor Joe. I used to be a lifeguard. In fact, I used to train lifeguards. Can you believe it? This old man used to be one of those guys that watches over people at the pool and out at the seashore and other places. Well, that's exactly what I did. Now, I didn't do it for a living. I didn't make money off of it. I did it as part of our ministry at summer camp. I've told you before that I worked at summer camp, right? And so they had and still have a pool at the summer camp where I worked down in Southern California. It was called Pine Springs Ranch. And when I was a brand new staff member at camp, I was young, they needed more lifeguards to watch over the campers that came up to the pool at camp. And as they were swimming, they needed more people to watch over them. But you couldn't just decide you were going to be a lifeguard and then just stand by the pool. You had to be trained, to be a good lifeguard. And so they asked me, they said, "Hey, Joe, we know that you're a new staff member here, but we need lifeguards. Do you think you would like to be one?" And I said, "I'm not sure how well I swim. And I can swim, but I'm not sure I could be a lifeguard. They have to know how to swim really, really well. And they have to know a lot." And they said, "Guess what? We'll teach you. We'll train you completely because we have the credentials, we have the certificate, we have the diploma that allows us to train you." They really knew what they were doing, and they said, "We'll train you to be a lifeguard, and then you have to take a big test, not only a test like you take at school, but also you'll have to swim, and you'll have to know certain moves that a lifeguard has to make when he's saving people. And we'll train you for all of that, but then we have to test you, and we'll send your test scores in, and we can get you a certificate that shows that you are a real lifeguard. You want to do it?" And I said, "Well, okay, I'll do it. All right." And so we got to work, and they got me up to the swimming pool at the camp, and they said, "You need to start doing some laps. You're going to have to get stronger and stronger as a swimmer." And so they had me swimming laps back and forth. And then as I was swimming, I heard, well, his name was Gary. Gary was on the shore, just above the pool, at the edge of the pool, and he was yelling at me. He was calling out to me, and he said, "Joe, you're not going fast enough. I'm timing you. You need to go faster." "Oh, okay." So I'd pour it on more, and I was getting tired and tired and tired, and finally I stopped. I was at the end of the lap that he asked me to do, and he said, "Joe, you have to swim faster. You have to be able to swim this many laps." I can't remember how many, but it was a lot of laps back and forth in the pool many, many, many times. "But you have to do it fast, and I'm timing you, and you have to do it within a certain amount of time. And you're not getting there, Joe." All right. So I rested for a minute, and then I started again. He said, "Okay, go." And I swam back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he kept yelling, "Come on, Joe, you're doing well, but you're just barely going to make it." And so I'd swim harder and harder and harder. Finally, I swam fast enough to pass that part of the test. That was great. "What's next?" I said. They said, "Now we have to train you how to save people, how to save people who are drowning out in the water." And they took me through a training exercise. And they taught me that if I was out there having to save them, I had to know the cross chest carry. That's where you put them, you turn them around where they're not facing you, and you reach around in front of them and you hold on to them, and then you swim back holding them in your arm. But that takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot of strength, and you have to have your breathing exercises so you can hold your breath just long enough while you're, well, not hold your breath, but you can be strong, and you don't drown yourself when you're trying to save someone who's drowning. And there are other things that would happen, because sometimes when someone's drowning, they get all agitated like this. They get all scared, right? And they're flailing their arms around, and they're saying, please help me, help me. And they try and jump on top of you, anything that'll keep them from drowning. And they kind of lose their minds, you might say, a little bit, and they're out of control. And you need to know how to block yourself from them. You need to know how to turn them around quickly to get yourself away from them, so that they don't make you drown too, jump on top of you and drown both of you. And you don't want that. So they trained me for all of these moves that I had to make, and how I had to swim, and which kind of leg kicks I had to make, and all of the important things that I needed to know. I got trained, and I became a lifeguard. It was with the American Red Cross back then, and they called me a senior life-saving instructor. No, not instructor, just a senior lifeguard. I can't remember what it's called. It's something like that. I had my senior life-saving card. And then when I went to college, I took another swimming course and learned how to be an instructor of lifeguards. So I taught people how to be lifeguards, just like I had been taught by Gary how to be a lifeguard. So I learned a whole lot about lifeguarding, and I taught many other lifeguards. I've forgotten a lot of it now. You can probably tell if your parents are lifeguards, if they ever were and they're listening to me, they might say, boy, he forgot a whole lot there. But still, I was a lifeguard, and I was a lifeguard instructor. I taught them. Now, I told you all of this because I want to tell you something that I was taught. And now there's a new way of teaching it, I know, but I'm going to tell you what I was taught, because it has a really important lesson for you and me today. I was taught these 4 little words, and I was taught them in a certain order, and you read them on the front picture before I started talking. And the words are reach, throw, row, and go, right? And here's the lesson that I was taught. I was taught that if I was standing on the side of a pool, or anywhere actually, but let's say I was on the side of a pool, and someone was in the middle of the pool and they were drowning. Somehow they ran out of energy, they were running out of air, and they started waving their hands above the water a little, and they were saying, help, help, help me, I can't get to the side, help me. What's the first thing I should do? I should reach them. I should reach out to them somehow. I shouldn't jump in the water. I should try to reach out to them. Now, in a lot of pools, even at home, you'll have this long, long pole. And at the end of the pole, it'll just be on the side, on the fence or on the side of the house or something, right? And it's got a long, long pole. And at the end of it will be one of 2 things. One thing might be a net. If bugs land on the water, or if leaves blow into your pool, then you have this long pole with a net at the end of it. And they call it a skimmer. And you skim it across the surface of the water, or even down under the water. And as long as you're moving forward, anything that comes in its path, this skimmer, this net, catches it, right? And so then you skim, 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 and then you scoop it up out of the water, and you have all these leaves and all the dead bugs and or even live bugs that were almost going to drown too. And you get them out, and then you shake them out on the side, in the planter or somewhere. And then you keep your pool clean with that. And it's that skimmer or that net is attached to this long, long pole. Another thing at the end of a long pole, it could be a big hook. And it's not like a fish hook, but it's shaped like a fish hook. But it's a safe one because it's smooth all the way around it. But it's a hook. And that is a life-saving hook, because what you can do is reach that pole way out to where that person is without putting yourself in danger. You're on the side of the pool, outside the pool, right? And you can reach it out there and they can grab onto it. And then you slowly pull them back in. If you jerk it real fast, then they'll let go or get hurt. But you slowly pull them. And you can do it with the net, with the pole that has the net on it too, the skimmer on it too. They can just grab onto the pole or to the skimmer, whatever. And you pull them to the side of the pool. As long as they hold on, they'll be fine, right? You get them to the side of the pool, and that's how you reach them. But if you don't have a pole, what would you do? How would you reach them? I can think right now of two other ways. One of them is you take a beach towel. Maybe you have a towel by the side of the pool, and you kind of try to roll it up a little, you make kind of a rope out of it. You know how you can do that? And then you throw it as best as you can, hang on to one end, and throw it out there. Maybe they're just within reach of where that thing will land. They can grab it, and then you can slowly pull them to the side of the pool, and they'll be okay, right? Another thing that you could throw to them, I just thought of 2 or 3 more. You look around outside the pool for anything that might float. No, don't ignore that. I forgot that part. Not yet. So you would think of something else that you could reach them with. Here's what you do. You lay on your belly right at the edge of the pool. You stick your legs out away from the pool, and you're just spread out at the edge of the pool, and you reach your arm out, and maybe they can get to your hand, and then you can pull them in. But don't lean over. Don't be standing up and leaning over and pulling them, because they'll pull you right into the pool, right? But if you lay down on the ground, then they can't pull you into the pool as easily, okay? But another thing you can do is turn your body away and stick your leg out, because your leg's longer than your arm, isn't it? And maybe then they can reach your foot, and then you could bend your knee and pull them back to the edge of the pool. That's how you can reach people. That's the first of the 4 words, right? That's the first thing you do, because that's the safest for you. All right? If they can be within reach of you, you should reach out to them. Okay? The second thing you can do, if you don't have anything to reach out to them with, is throw, right? It's reach and then throw. What can you throw? Well, a lot of times at a pool, they have a life ring, right? A life-saving ring. It's this big, round, white thing, and it's tied to a rope. A rope is tied to it, and then this long rope. And you hold on to the other end of the rope, and you throw the life ring all the way out to them, and that'll go a lot farther than you could ever reach, because you have this long rope. And they're flailing in the water, and they'll grab onto that thing as long as you throw it close enough to them, right? And they'll grab onto it, and then all you do is slowly pull the rope in, right? And you can help save them, get them to the side of the pool. And these things also work out on the shore too, as long as you can get these things thrown out to them. There are other things you can throw. If you don't have a life ring, look around for something that floats. That's all you have to do, is find something that you can pick up that floats. And one of the things that is very often out at the beach or even at the side of the pool is a water container. You know, those like an igloo that that has a lid on the top, and it's a big round orange thing. You have them at school sometimes. I know we have one at home. It's a big thing that you put water or juice in, and then you have a little button at the bottom, or a little faucet at the bottom. You can turn it, and you can have hold your cup there. Those things are great. You can just, if someone's in trouble, you can just take the lid off and empty all of the fluid out of it, and then you can put that lid on tight and throw it out to them. At least they'll have something that they can grab onto and use to help them float, right? That's something you can throw to them, but it doesn't have to be even that. You can actually look around, and some people have actually found wooden chairs. Chairs made completely of wood. And if you can lift it up, drag that thing over there and throw the chair out to them. If you can't reach them, some people have done that. Anything that floats is hopefully going to be helpful for them. But when you throw it, don't hit them in the head with it. Try to throw it close to them, right? Okay, so let's see. If you can't reach them, and you don't have anything to throw to them, or you can't throw far enough to them because they're far, far out, then the third thing you can do is row. Row, row, row your boat, right? Some people have a kayak, or they'll have a canoe, or they'll actually have a boat. And get in that boat, get in whatever you have, and slowly and carefully go out to where they are. And then they can grab onto the side of the boat or the canoe or the kayak. Hopefully they won't tip you over. So, and sometimes what you can also do is if you're rowing out to them, that means you have an oar, right? A paddle. Get close enough to them, but not right next to them, and then reach your oar out to them and let them grab onto the oar. And then make sure that they can gain their composure, they can calm down, and then slowly pull them close to you and say, now just barely hold on and I'll get you back to shore. Okay? So if you can't reach them, if you can't throw something to them, then you should row to them. And then you can help them either into your boat if it's big enough, or just let them hang on while you paddle back to the shore. Okay? And that usually happens not in a pool. It's usually when you're out there, offshore. Okay, but the last thing you should do, if you can't reach someone, if you can't throw something to them, if you can't row your boat out to them to help them, the last thing you should do then is go. What that means is you get in the water and you swim out to them yourself, right? Now, why would that be the last thing that we should do? Why do you think? Which one do you think would be safer? Any of the other three things would be safer than swimming out there yourself to try to save someone, right? Because like I've told you, they can flail and they can get all crazy and their mind doesn't think right. When you're panicking, sometimes that happens, right? And that could be dangerous for you. They could jump on top of you. I've seen it happen. And so they'll jump on top of you. So only lifeguards, you got to do what you got to do. But they trained us that if you're a lifeguard, you know how to defend yourself. If someone comes at you hoping that you'll save them, they don't realize what they're doing, then you can block them, or you can turn them around quickly, or you can escape from them and give it another try, or whatever you have to do. Those are things that lifeguards are trained to do, right? But still, lifeguards know that we are in danger if we go out. We're taking a risk if we go out to save someone. So that's the last thing we should do. These days, some trainers actually say, don't go. Just don't go. Well, I don't know what they mean by that, because then someone might drown, right? But I think they're saying call for help or things like that. But we were trained, the last thing you do is go out to help them and do the cross chest carry and paddle back and help them back to shore, because that can put both of your lives in danger. Okay? Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? And so that's what we were trained as lifeguards. We should first try to reach them. If we can't reach them, throw something to them. If you can't throw something to them, row your boat out to them if you have one, or a kayak or something. And if you can't do that, then you have to go out and try to save their lives. And hopefully you're strong enough and you know what to do. Okay? I was thinking about all that because I was thinking about Christmas. And at Christmas time, you remember what we celebrate? We celebrate the birth of a little baby boy. But was this baby boy special? Oh yeah, he was special. He came to this earth to save us. It's kind of like we were out offshore and we were drowning. We were in trouble. We might have been in the middle of the pool, but we couldn't swim. We were in trouble and we were drowning. And God looked at us and said, I want to save them. So do you think God would have just reached down and helped us? Now he can do that. He does that in a special way. He helps us when we're in trouble. But no, he had to help us in a very special way, right? Because we were drowning in our sin. So he didn't reach out. That's the safest thing for God to do, would just to be to reach out, just like for us. Or did he throw something at us? No, he didn't throw anything at us. Did he row his boat to us? No, he didn't do that. He did the most dangerous of all the options. He came to us himself through his son, right? So Jesus said, we need to save all of the human race, all the people. We need to save them. I will go. Boy, what a risk he took, huh? He could have done it any other way, but God put himself in danger. And in the end, Jesus had to die so that we could be saved. You know, there were 3 or 4 times when I was a lifeguard when I had to save someone. And I don't know why, but I was kind of dumb. And I actually jumped in the water after them. I swam out, way out into a lake to save my brother, who thought he could swim that far, but he couldn't. And I swam out, and both of us almost drowned because I didn't have the strength to help him back, but we did make it. But I forgot about reaching or throwing or rowing. I just went. That was dangerous. There was another time at the camp pool that the kid was right off the edge of the pool and she was starting to sink. And what did I do? I didn't reach out. I didn't throw anything to her. I didn't row a boat to her in the pool. I actually jumped in the water and got up underneath and I started pushing her up. But I almost drowned when I did that. That was a crazy thing for me to do. And there was another time when I was in college and I did the very same thing. I jumped right in the water. I took my whistle off, I took my glasses off, and I took my shirt off, and I jumped in the water to help save them, and I almost drowned. I drank in a lot of water. I don't know why I did that. I never remembered that the last thing you do is go. But you know what? God loved us so much that when he saw the human race in trouble, he went. He jumped right to the most dangerous thing to do. And he came here as a little baby. And he lived his life. And he taught us how to live our lives. And then he paid the ultimate price. He died so that we could live. Oh, what a loving God we have, who would put himself in harm's way. And he would die the death that you and I deserve to die. Oh, he loved us so much. He did that for us. This Christmas, I want you to be thankful and grateful for all God has done for you, that he sent his son and paid the ultimate price so that we could live. That's our story for today. Thank you so much for listening. Let's pray real quick before we leave. Thank you, Father, for loving us and for sending us your son. And thank you for his sacrifice and for coming to this earth and living his life and dying that death that we all deserved so that we could live forever. Oh, thank you for your love. Help us to share this important message with everyone we meet and help us to live for you. And we thank you and pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.